This sport has helped me so much in my life. I think my jaw is broken, by the way, so yeah.
Let's go!
It's definitely broke.
I'm a little fucked up, but when you take care of me forever...
There's a rare kind of silence that only exists at the very top of the heavyweight ladder. Not the quiet of an empty room, but the heavy, suffocating hush that follows a collision so fierce, it stops the heartbeat of an entire stadium. For 5 rounds, the world watched a social media star try to outmaneuver a mountain, but in the 6th, the mountain moved. When Anthony Joshua's right hand landed, it wasn't just a punch, it was a jolting reality check. As the referee's count echoed through the arena, the bravado that had built an empire gave way to a stark, clinical emergency.
They wanted me not to fight Anthony Joshua. I should have listened to my mom. My dad pushed me to this. Now I'm alone in the hospital. Got to eat liquid now. Anthony Joshua, be ready for a rim.
The image of Jake Paul face down on the canvas is already etched in boxing history, but the real shock came in the minutes that followed. While the crowd cheered Joshua, Paul's corner was 10 strainers checking vitals with shaking hands, medical staff visibly worried. In an instant, the scene shifted from global spectacle to life-or-death urgency, with Joshua standing at the center as a stark reminder that boxing is a business for some, but a blood sport for others.
Congratulations on your win tonight in Miami. How are you feeling right now?
Calm, chilled, good to get the win, but there's a lot I could have done better. So a bit of mixed emotion.
Like what?
Could have done a lot better, cut the ring off, maybe done what I done in the 6th, the 1st, the 2nd, even in the 1st. But a win's a win. And that's why we're here talking now.
You talked about having the weight of the boxing world on your shoulders, like the purists, right?
Yeah, you're
and
pugilist.
how do you deal with that type of pressure when the media is so fickle? 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they hate you. Do you feel that even though you won tonight, you're still not going to be pleased?
So with the media, how I operate the media is you got negative and you got positive. So I do honestly focus on the positive. I don't really focus on the negative. And secondly, I just understand that while I'm in the hot seat, so let's say there's a seat, and right now I've elevated to that hot seat, I gotta take all the shit that comes with being in that hot seat, and then once I move on from that hot seat, no one's gonna care about me anyway. So I just gotta.
That's not true.
It's true. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. So I know how it works. I understand the cycle. I'm currently in that motion. I'm dealing with some shit at the minute, but it won't last forever. Have some tough skin, and then in a couple of years, I'll be sitting back watching someone else deal with that shit.
Thank you,
Come on,
guys.
champ, have some tough skin. You'll be all right.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so much
good
for your
to
time.
see you, Michelle.
Great to see you too.
Locker room, shock, quickly turned to fear as rumors of a career-ending injury and emergency hospital transport spread. Joshua, known for his respect in the ring, admitted that his instinct is always to end a fight decisively. He didn't just win, he dismantled his opponent. His injuries sent him to the hospital before the post-fight press even began.
Oh, he's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is...
Full extent of the damage became clear hours later. A double jaw fracture, not a minor break, but a complete structural failure. When the X-ray hit social media, the frenzy was immediate. This wasn't a show, was the harsh cost of bridging the gap between influencer and elite heavyweight. While Paul boasted about fighting again in 10 days, the medical reality pointed to a long, painful recovery, possibly with his jaw wired shut for months.
Paul, he stated he had to do surgeries. He broke his jaw on 2 different locations on both sides. He lost many teeth that he has to replace, or he replaced already. And after that, Jake called out Canelo. But he need to focus on Gervonta for real, because Canelo gonna do him dirty. With that being said, Jake said, quote, "Just got out of surgery. Everything went smooth. Thanks for all the love. A lot of pain and stiffness. Gotta eat liquid for 7 days, even on Christmas." So, to the amazing team of Miami University Hospital, everyone was so gracious and caring. Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days. Jaw broken, heart and balls intact. Time to rest. recover, and return to cruiserweight. Okay, now that's a smart thing to do because he did fight a super heavyweight in AJ. But I don't think it's going to be any sweeter at cruiserweight.
This brings us to the word everyone's quietly talking about: retirement. Headlines are shouting it, and understandably so. When a fighter suffers an injury this severe, it's natural for people to question whether they should ever take a hit like that again. While claims about retirement are often used to grab attention, the real story lies in the indefinite break. Paul now faces, you don't just bounce back from a shattered face, it makes you wonder if his internal clock has finally run out. He talked about being a disruptor, kid with a big heart, but even the strongest heart can't keep going through a broken jaw.
My best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up. And I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026. Maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia.
Inside Paul's camp, the mood is predictably defensive. Logan Paul stepped up as the protective older brother, praising Jake as a warrior and insisting that his spirit can't be broken. But in the unforgiving world of boxing, spirit alone doesn't win fights. Skill and durability do. The influencer boxing bubble, once thought untouchable, has finally hit a wall it couldn't talk its way past. Critics argue this was always the inevitable outcome. A promotional genius matched against a seasoned, world-class knockout artist. It wasn't a question of if it would happen, but when.
Because of the size difference, not because of the skill difference. AJ was hanging on that neck, pushing him down. And when you have someone that heavy constantly doing that, it does suck the energy out of you. AJ talked about sucking out or taking out the man's soul. He didn't take out his soul. He did take out his energy, and that's when he was able to get the finish.
And just a quick follow-up. Obviously, we don't want to look too far into the future. I know you said Jake wants a break. He's going through some, he's coming off a tough fight. But, I mean, it seems written on the wall that would be an obvious fight to, look forward to in the future. Could you see Jake versus Francis Ngannou?
The whole situation with Francis was very confusing to me. And he's done a couple of interviews, back and forth on terms of how he thought about our conversation. I think Francis is a revolutionary when it comes to fight sports. He stood up against the UFC, showed what kind of man he is. And this process was just, again, a little bit confusing for me, given who I know who he is.
Adding another layer of chaos to the aftermath was the reaction from the Gypsy King himself, Tyson Fury. Rather than acknowledging Joshua's dominant performance, Fury seized the moment to stir the pot, mocking the victory and claiming he would have finished the fight even faster.
Hey man, I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. 37-year-old at the end of his career fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B, and now he's talking about killing and all that to try and sell. Please, barking up the wrong tree, idiot. You're a classless loser coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you back out. You big bum, useless dog.
Classic move in the heavyweight chess game, but it underscores a curious truth. Jake Paul's loss has somehow accelerated the timeline for a Joshua versus Fury showdown. Even in defeat, Paul remains a catalyst for major shifts in the sport, though, for now. He's watching it all unfold from a hospital room.
Fury, listen, we'll see you in September.
Is it realistic, you think? I mean, it's been 7 years, right?
We'll get it. You'll get it this year.
The business of pain has always been lucrative, and controversy has long been the ultimate driver of commerce. Despite the medical trauma and the very real possibility that Paul's chin may never fully recover, Talks of a rematch began before the blood was even cleaned from the canvas.
Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers, they should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy out and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. He's always going to get hit back. I mean, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on. I'd probably start on.
There's a morbid fascination in watching how someone responds when their career momentum is brutally halted. Will Jake return as a humbler version of himself? Or will the delusion of grandeur resurface once the painkillers wear off? The machine craves a comeback story, but the human body may have other plans.